Up, guys? It is the same morning. We're getting another match here. In fact, it's a big DPP day here in PSL. We've got a fire matchup today, sandwiched between two lesser games. Zokuru and Metacham just went. Now we've got NikhilR and Cali making her DPP debut for the season. I think she's been playing Little Cup, I believe. I'm not sure what tier. She plays a lot of tiers. But she's been slotted into DPP this week against the one, the only, the GOAT, NikhilR. And then afterwards, a couple insignificant players are playing. So I'm going to sneak a commentary in here, a live commentary. And what we've got here is a lead setup that could go either way. We've got a Zelf versus Metagross. I typically like Metagross in this particular lead matchup. Let me make sure I'm recording here. I am. We're good. Yeah. I typically like Metagross here. I think, obviously Metagross often carries rocks. Although you will sometimes see a 4 attack Metagross lead to kind of bait the taunt here from his elf. If you're Nick, you have to decide what's more important to you, getting up rocks, keeping your Azelf, or preventing Metagross from setting up rocks. He does not take the false dichotomy. He goes into Swampert here. Swampert without leftovers tick here, so this could be any sort of Swampert. Banded, I don't know. If it's banded but max HP, then I guess that makes sense on the damage. We get Roserade comes in and just gets melted. It's Life Orb Swampert. I love that. Roserade with pathetic physical defense comes in and gets owned. And unlike some of the limitations with Choice Band Swampert, Life Orb does allow you to change moves here, so he could hit Gengar with an extremely strong waterfall. And I don't think, barring Specs or Life Orb Gengar, I don't think Shadow Ball kills, and I don't even think Life Orb Shadow Ball kills from 63, if indeed it's max HP. If you're Cali here, what you need to be doing is you need to be calculating, okay, I know my Metagross set. I can use that Meteor Mash damage to determine exactly what kind of spread Swampert has. Use that calculator. Hey, if you want to start the timer, you can go ahead from Nickel. I went on a bit of a rant about timer earlier this week. There it comes from Cali. Um, but I'm not a timer guy. I've never, maybe I'm lucky. I've never been in a DPP match where I felt like someone was playing too slowly. You want to calc, you want to do whatever, that's totally fine by me. I play a little more quickly, probably costs me some of the time. Um, all right, so if you're Cali here, you just brought Gengar in. I think that betrays your team, and I think you gotta. Oh, here comes the Will-O-Wisp. Do we get like a Hydro Pump? The Waterfall does over half even burned, and this burn's gonna take him down into Torrent range soon. Shadow Ball. Okay, so from 41, that was a good burn there because it got him down into the range where Shadow Ball kills. Now you've got Metagross to come in here, which definitely doesn't die. I think he's kind of telegraphing Lumberry Metagross because he's saying, "Burn me." Burn me, I don't care. He's saying that, or I don't know. Honestly, a burn Metagross might still kill with Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch. She goes to Suicune. Not all that different from the move earlier, and a really bad damage there. By the move earlier for Nick to go to Swampert, Cali breaks out her own bulky water here, but we see that plus attack on Metagross. Earthquake comes in 30%, doesn't do enough. We get the Calm Mind from Suicune. So here's the big question. Do we see an explosion for Metagross? Do we see the explosion here? And on the same token, does Cali predict it and either go? Nope, she doesn't. We see the Surf come in. Good play there. Azelf comes in here. Azelf certainly with explosion. Azelf with taunt here to prevent it from continuing to calm mind up. And if Nick's feeling really confident, Stealth Rock as well. There comes the Stealth Rock. So that tells me Nick had more to deal with this Suicune. Maybe a Trick Scarf Rotom or something like that. Looking at his team, I think that would fit. Azelf now gets to slap a Thunder Wave on Heatran. We see the Lava Plume come in. That'll take it out. But Azelf's done its job. Tyranitar comes in now. Can Cali get a burn here on a Lava Plume? You're probably not going to want to Earth Power. It's not going to do that much. I'm guessing a bulkier Heatran. Did it come in? It came in without rock, so we don't know what kind of item it has right now. But we get the Earthquake from Tyranitar. Maybe Banded, maybe Scarfed. I don't know. Does Gengar come in here? I mean, this forces Cali into a tough decision. Okay, we got Flygon. We got the shiny Flygon coming in. I feel like Flygon is going to have to decide, do you want to expose yourself and Earthquake? Do you want to U-turn and risk Tyranitar getting a Dragon Dance in? I feel like you can risk a U-turn here because if Tyranitar decides it wants to Dragon Dance, You can always go Suicune, you can always go Metagross. Suicune already a bit chipped here. We do have a 4-on-4 here, but I can't help but feel like Nickel has the momentum and has the upper hand. So Cali's in a tough spot here. We see a switch here to Gyarados. Does she Earthquake? She does. Expertly called by Nick. But what that does, though, it doesn't reveal what kind of item that Flygon has. Metagross comes in. We see a dance from Gyarados. No item, no leftovers tick on Gyarados, which means we could be seeing a Walkenberry. We could be seeing Lum. I think Walken makes a lot of sense. I think we probably see Metagross explode here, and we see the explosion. Okay, so Kali's saying, I'm not taking my chances with Dragon Dance Gyarados. A little strange. You do have Suicune, but maybe it's Crocoon. It's certainly extremely heavily defensive. So we got the Calm Mind and Surf there. I don't know what the other moves are. Could be Rest, could be Sub, could be Sleep Talk, could be Ice Beam. What do we have? What was the predict on Umbra? Oh, Cali turning this shit around from Spain. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think I still really, really like Nick's position, but you got to play this smart here because Flygon now at this point, you've got two mods weak to Earthquake, both at 100%, and you don't have rocks to take chip. I'm not sure that Scarf Flygon one hit KOs either of these. But Nick, you don't know what this last is. You've got one ground resist. A Zelf doesn't really count because it's kind of sack bait at the front, suicide lead, and then Swampert. I don't know. I mean, I think this last could be something like Jirachi. I think it could be something like Lucario. Those are two just obvious bets. It's not really based on team build. You also could see something kind of unorthodox in the back here from Nick, which he does tend to do. Something I would maybe like a Calm Mind Latias. We are not seeing a lot of Latias this PSL, which I think is. Oh, there's Dragonite. Okay. Well, Flygon comes in. So this is a big 50-50 here. If Flygon outrages, then Metagross comes in and pretty much has its way, although it can't break through Suicune. So I think if you are Nick, if I'm Nick, I probably go Metagross here. If Flygon is bold enough to Earthquake on Dragonite, then I think, fine, you sack Metagross. Maybe you get a Bullet Punch off before you go down for good, and then you bring Dragonite in and you start setting up. However, this could be a Life Orb Flygon. Because we saw the Earthquake come in on Gyarados earlier, we did not get to see whether it took Life Orb damage. That says a lot to me. This is a very interesting situation. At this point, I would say it's almost a stalemate. I think you got to be worried too if you're Nick. We haven't seen a Scarfer. I mean, I guess it theoretically could be. I don't think it is. No, it's not Scarf Metagross because he switched moves on the Suicune earlier. Could definitely be Scarf Tyranitar. Obviously, Earthquake one hit King Heatran did not belay for us what kind of Tyranitar it was, and Heatran was paralyzed, so we don't even know what kind of speed it had. If it's Scarf, okay, that's probably the switch I would have made. We get a good U-turn from Flygon there, but the important thing for Nick is he's got 3 mons at virtually full health. Gengar comes in here. Remember, he brought Metagross in on Gengar earlier, so he's certainly not afraid of Gengar here. I think if you're Gengar, you slap the Wisp on. I think we see a Lum here. Yep, we see the Lum. We see the, Agility Metagross. That's going to be tough, but not impossible. Suicune is at enough where it can stomach a couple of hits here. Meteor Mash, Earthquake, Agility. I think you mash here. I think if you're Cali, you probably go Suicune and hope no boost. We do get no boost. Suicune comes in at 60%. Do you see just an explosion here? If Cali is really bold, we probably see a Protectorus. No, you can't sub. I think a Protect is the only thing that I think that's going to save Cali. Probably, I think Thunder Punch is unlikely. If you're Nick and you get an explosion off here and Suicune dies, you win because Flygon with the Scarf and by the way, we did not see the leftovers tick earlier. So Flygon with the Scarf, unless it's like Expert Belt, which you just don't see run U-turn all that often, Flygon with the Scarf, I think, is going to have a really hard time dealing with both Tyranitar and Dragonite. We see this switch to Dragonite. We see the Calm Mind come in. I think what we'll see here is just Dragonite throw everything it can at Suicune. This makes me nervous though for Nick because now you've got 2 mons that are KO'd by Earthquake. I don't know about KO'd. And then we get Metagross. So, checking. Okay, so he was testing to see if the Ice Beam were to come in. Now that it's rested, I think it belays that it's Sleep Talk and it's Surf, it's Mono Attack. Yep, and that's not going to do enough. So I think we're going to see one Dragon Dance here. If Cali was extremely smart, I would have gone right to Flygon there, take it out with an Outrage, although then you still risk the chance that Metagross comes in. Dragonite sets up all over this. I think this game's over. I think we see one more Dragon Dance to put it outside of Flygon's speed range, and then Outrage pretty much melts. I mean, Suicune's still pretty bulky, so you certainly got the chance that Outrage. I think it's a two-hit KO still, though. We haven't seen the item yet. Could be Life Orb, could be Lum, could be Yash. Who knows? Um, there's the second one. Okay, Suicune, what are they going to do? They're going to surf. Not going to do enough, even with just plus one. I mean, maybe if instead of that rest there, Cali had gotten a second Calm Mind off with the Sleep Talk, maybe that does enough to really threaten. But Dragonite from here, I mean, if we see a Roost, if this is a bulky Dragonite, a Roost here is game over. Absolutely game over on a Roost. Even an Outrage here, though. Well, Surf did 23, so even just a slightly higher roll, a 25% damage Surf by Suicune, and Dragonite's dead. And then you've got that situation that you wanted if you're Cali, which is Scarf Flygon against both Metagross and Tyranitar. I have a feeling Tyranitar does not die to that Scarf Earthquake, though, and certainly kills back with Crunch. Well, I don't know, probably 83% on Flygon. I think a Bullet Punch. Well, you don't have Bullet Punch though either. You have Explosion on Metagross. Um, but then again, I don't know if Earthquake kills that. Okay, so we definitely see the 2-hit KO come in here. Oh, and we get the crit on the Surf. Oh man, I don't know. I think Metagross probably okay here. That's unfortunate. Although Tyranitar, um, if it's Scarf, this is going to show a lot from Nick. Obviously, you didn't want to see that. If you're Nick, you didn't want to see the crit there because I think you could pretty easily have just slapped another Outrage on. But you also, yeah, I mean, then it just completely eliminates the ability. Um, I should be winning this, but let's hope she doesn't crit here. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I said this in chord. I mean, again, I don't know that. I guess I don't think Suicune's got enough speed here to outspeed Metagross. What does agility run? Like 240 to get up to 480? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Tough spot. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over. If Nick, what did the earthquake do earlier? E- Earthquake. Where was that? Where was that? It was early. Earthquake. Earthquake does 30% to Suicune. So Earthquake kills Suicune. It depends on the speed of the Metagross. I think you could definitely see. Um, okay, so if Metagross outspeeds, if he outspeeds and kills with Earthquake here, um, then okay, so he does. So he does. So now it's whether Flygon KOs with Earthquake on this, and I think Metagross at 83% probably a little more likely to get KO'd. I do think it's Scarf Tyranitar. Oh, when we see this and the explosion, and that's game. Okay, I thought Nick had something that could stomach that Earthquake. If it wasn't Metagross, I think it was Tyranitar. Regardless, the win there, big win. I think Nick played better. I think the team matchup was just a little tough on Cali. Cali played well. I thought it was a very close match for Cali to even have it that close with a matchup that I definitely do not think favored her, especially losing Roserade right away. Obviously, you wish you had some spikes or T-spikes down for Tyranitar, chip that away. I don't know. Overall, great match. Good win by Nick. Back on track for Nickel after last week. Glad to be bringing that to you. And I got to go because I've got my own match coming up. So catch y'all later.